All right. Well, I guess it's time. I mean, we could probably talk about the game itself like for the next couple hours, but
This isn't called a spoiler episode for nothing.
yeah, I think it's time. I've elected Titus. He's going to spoil it for him, but there was. I told him you have to be enthusiastic if you're going to share
man.
it.
All right.
You better do it. Here we go.
Gabriel Belmont is Dracula.
Dun, dun, dun.
And also they're in modern times.
Yes.
Two big reveals at the end of the game.
Yeah.
And, I mean, Zobek was... The fact that he wasn't dead was kind of a reveal, but it was, it's almost the token movie and video game thing that they always do. Oh, he's not actually dead.
Also, you have to fight Satan out of nowhere at the end. Which is
Yeah.
I thought.
That was crazy.
Yeah, I wasn't really expecting that. It's like, oh, okay, I gotta fight Zobek. Nope, you fight Satan.
Yeah, that was pretty insane.
Well, it's crazy because, being a Castlevania game, you expect Dracula to show up the whole time.
Yeah.
And so it's like, once it gets to the end there and Zobek starts being all creepy, it's like, oh, okay, so Zobek's Dracula. And then you start hearing him talk to someone, like in the clouds or whatever, and you're like, oh, he's talking to Dracula. I'm going to fight Dracula. Oh, wait, no, that's Satan? Okay, I guess I'm fighting Satan now. And then finally you get around to Dracula at the end.
Yeah, it was awesome. Like I guess I had I beat the game and I had a feeling the entire time that it seemed like Gabriel was like descending into this darkness. I'm like, I wonder what's going to happen there because I have not seen Dracula yet. And I had an inkling, but then you fight the devil and it's just like, okay, game over, end credits. And I had this tinge of disappointment because I've kind of recently realized that I think Dracula is a badass. And and I always look forward to him and his different incarnations at the end of each game. And he wasn't there. And then that tinge of disappointment was replaced with this euphoria when I realized the concept that, oh my God, I may be playing Dracula in modern times in the next Castlevania game, which is like the coolest concept that you could ever hand me.
Oh yeah, it was mind blowing, or mind boggling, whichever one you use. But
one after the other, even.
yeah. All right, so we're gonna do another roundtable thing here, and hopefully you guys will think. I hope you had a way you can describe this, but we're just each gonna go around and explain our reaction to the epilogue, because again, I'll start. Mine personally, like Titus and Wes had already beat the game, so they're like, dude, it's gonna blow your mind. You're not gonna predict it. Don't even worry about it. It's just, if you don't read about it on the internet, you're gonna be fine. You're not gonna figure it out. I'm like, all right. So my personal reaction to the ending of the game was honestly one of I was very confused and almost it was a very surreal, I didn't believe what I was seeing. It was just it took me a while to process what I just saw. I'm like, so then I called Titus and I'm like, all right, so I hope I'm understanding this correctly. Gabriel is Dracula, right? And he's like, that's what they're leading you to believe. I was like, wow. So then once I actually talked to somebody about it, then the excitement came out and I was really excited. I'm like, that was so cool. But honestly, before that, I just I had a lot of reservations. I almost I felt I hope I'm not misunderstanding this. He said he's Dracula, right? It was that unbelievable to me. So Titus, what about you? What was your reaction?
I guess just to sum up what I was thinking, it was nuh-uh, nuh-uh, nuh-uh. And then immediately my mind jumped to how is this going to play into the next game? Am I going to be Dracula? Is the next game going to explain how he becomes Dracula? And then it was the modern time thing, and it just, that thought captivated my mind that we could be playing Dracula in modern times and how awesome that would be. Oh, it was great.
That's awesome. Wes?
Mine was actually a little bit similar to Dean's. Since I haven't really had a whole lot of experience with Castlevania, I wasn't entirely sure. So I started out oh wow, he's a vampire. I didn't really put it together the Dracula thing. And it wasn't until I was actually working on one of the achievements where you buy all the art, and then I came to the art that said Dracula, and it showed him. It's wait a second. Dracula? Hold on a second. It's oh, and then it just hit me. I was excited. It's modern times. That's what really got me. It's oh, they're in modern times. It's what's gonna happen next? Where does this story go? But then when I saw the art, it was Whoa. Awesome.
Where's my Batman glass? Okay, so what about you guys? What was your reaction when you saw it?
Well, it was weird because, Tim reviewed it, so he played it, way before it came out. And he was talking so much about how much he loved the ending. I was reading his review and talking about how it's one of his favorite endings in just pretty much anything recently. And so with all that hype, I was kind of worried if it was going to deliver. I was sure it was going to have a cool ending. But man, Tim really loved it. So I was playing through it, and it really wasn't super story heavy a lot. And so I was just wondering as it got near the end, what could it do story-wise that would just blow my mind so much? And, kind of the same thing. When he turns and he says Gabriel, and you see him come out of the shadows, and he says Dracul, I was just like, oh man, that really is an awesome twist. I didn't see it coming at all. I didn't have even that inkling or anything. And I thought about it almost kind of like, I kind of looked at the game kind of like Metal Gear Solid 3. I don't know if you played that, but it's from Metal Gear history that Big Boss is this bad dude.
Yeah.
But you just know him as that old NES villain, basically, just the super villain. Yeah. And Metal Gear 3 did such a great job of showing how screwed over he got and all the crap he had to go through, and he had to kill his mentor and all this stuff. I'm not spoiling a 7-year-old game or whatever. But I love just kind of seeing what leads to this character becoming such a tragic figure. And when you look back at Lords of Shadow, that's kind of what it's like with Gabriel. And I don't know, I kind of see him in the same light now. But and of course the double whammy thing when he gets kicked out of the window and it's this Times Square-like environment. You can't help but think about where the series is going to go from there, and I'm excited to see. But I hope they don't, blow their whole load with that with the downloadable content that's coming up, because I want to see a full-scale, fully realized. Let's see Dracula in modern times. I don't want him running around with an AK and like GTA or something, but I want what they do with it. But yeah, let's hope that they don't, throw that all out in the DLC, and that's that.
Yeah, I just, before Tim goes, I just want to say, I like how you said that, that's how I felt too. It's one of those things where when people talk about the game, it's what could they possibly do at the ending that could be that interesting? Because this game it's interesting, but, I mean, come on, what is that? But then, I also like what you said about how they're actually going to do the modern Dracula thing, because I mean there's so much excitement in the possibility of it. It's that's such a cool idea. It's such a great concept. But then after a few weeks of that excitement settling down, then you're like, how are they going to do this? I hope they can pull it off. So yeah, I really hope I'm really hoping that they can do it right. So. All right, Tim, you're up.
As soon as I played it before anyone else in the office, so immediately after I saw the ending, I started texting anyone that had any any interest in the game. I'm just like, oh my god! I told Ben Reeves that we work with. He didn't care about having it spoiled, and I just straight up told him immediately. And he's like, I am more interested in seeing this game now and playing this. And my first instinct was I need to do a spoiled episode on this. And I was getting really excited about that, and I tried to do that spoiled episode right away, and then get that message out right away. And it seemed like people's responses, in the comments, were I am actually more interested in this now that I've seen the ending of the game, and I know what the series might be building up towards.
Yeah.
And I couldn't have been happier about having that response from people. But yeah, mostly I'm just okay, well, it looks like they have this whole new Dracula character model ready, and he's got all these weird things on his belt, and I started thinking about the possibilities of what you could do as Dracula as a protagonist, siphoning blood from people for energy, or turning into a bat and a wolf and mist again, in Symphony of the Night, and and just doing this crazy crap that hasn't been really realized, because in Symphony of the Night you play Alucard, who is Dracula's son and half a vampire. Alucard is Dracula backwards, if in a clever bit there.
I did not know that.
Yeah, hey. And I started thinking about doing that crap in 3D, and with the polish that Mercury Steam and Kojima Productions brought with that game, and got really, really excited.